Morning Boss Talk. Topic: what doesn't kill you doesn't make you stronger. It makes you incapable of being your best self. Now, I know that sounds crazy because many of us are used to what doesn't kill us make us stronger. And the reason is we cannot see ourselves detached from trauma. We can't see ourselves living the life that ain't have nothing to do with trauma. We don't like anything that ain't got nothing to do with trauma. We won't even accept knowledge if it ain't come from somebody that has some trauma. If the person that's trying to teach you something new didn't watch their dad kill their mom and then the dad turned around, shot them in the head, but they was in the hospital like Ace and they made it, and now they went to jail for 15 years and came home and started a business, you don't want to hear from them. We don't want to hear nothing from anybody that ain't dealt with no trauma, and we can't even have identities ourselves outside of trauma. So I'm going against the mantra, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I'm saying what doesn't kill you, if you don't deal with it properly, understand that, it's going to make you incapable of being your best self. Now, this is the thing that we need to do, but we don't do. Many of us never ever look at the trauma that hurt us. We never look at the trauma that turned our world upside down and asked ourselves, how did this change me? Or what was I like before the trauma? I asked some young guys this. I was teaching at a prison and I had a group of older men with me. And when I asked the question, not only was the young guys baffled, even the older men was like, yo, who was I before the trauma? Who were you before the trauma? Instead of us overcoming trauma, instead of us recognizing how the trauma changed us, we let the trauma make us. And then we think it's cool to say, man, I'm from X, Y, and Z street. You know what I've been through? The streets made me. This made me. If you were made by trauma, guess what? You are never going to be the best version of yourself, because the best version of yourself is trauma-free. The best version of yourself had the trauma, dealt with the trauma, processed the trauma properly, overcame the trauma. It didn't get made by the trauma. If you were made by the fact that you grew up eating next to roaches and eating next to rats, how are you going to be as mentally successful or prepared to be successful as somebody who didn't? Like, we really think the struggle makes you better because it makes us feel better because so many of us went through the struggle. Nah, that's not cool. Think about this, right? If you think the struggle is what makes you better, how come none of us want to let our kids struggle? Huh? When it comes to us, we want to keep saying that. Oh, the struggle made me. But yet, as soon as you have a child, you want to make sure your child don't struggle because deep down inside, you know the struggle don't make you better. But let's just look at this. Listen here. Facing your demons, dealing with them properly, and overcoming them will produce an entirely different result than poking your chest out and saying, that ain't nothing, I've been through worse. What kind of response is that? That ain't nothing, I've been through worse. Just because you've been through worse don't mean you got to keep going through hell. Like, just because you went through a dark hell mean you got to keep going through hell and just saying it's okay? No, we got to recognize when this stuff changes us and doesn't benefit us. I'm going to give a couple of examples, and it's a whole lot more that we could go through, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. In many cases, trauma makes us afraid of new things. So we done dealt with some trauma, and now all we want to do is what we're comfortable with. All we want to do is what we're used to. All we want to do is what we know the end result is going to be. We don't want to try anything that might seem like, all right, I don't know how this is going to end. I don't know how this is going to work out. And if you never want to try some new stuff, how you going to get some new results? If the trauma that made you so afraid to do anything new, how you going to make some new money? This is why I started this campaign with the youngins. New lanes, new money. So listen, all y'all know is selling drugs. Let me start teaching y'all some new lanes. But if you're afraid of the new lanes, Meek said, I never saw a hustler get 100 mil, and if he did get 100 mil, he ain't got 100 still. So, but he knows billionaires who got money different ways. I bet he never even thought about getting money however Michael Rubin got it. But now that he's around Michael Rubin, now he's around Robert Kraft, he learned totally different things. But what if he was afraid to try something new? Many of us, we afraid to try something new, and that's all because of the trauma, but you cool with the trauma making you. Another thing, the trauma, in many cases, makes us not want to connect with new people. This definitely been me. I'd have been through so much in the streets where, I'm saying, for years, I wouldn't even be able to get out my car on somebody else's corner. Somebody wanted to holler at me, y'all got to come to Annis Street because I don't know if one of y'all going to set me up indirectly. I don't know if I'm going to be out here lunching and somebody going to come by and they going to kill me. So I don't really want to connect with new people because I don't know what you're going to do to me. I don't know how you might harm me. I don't know how being around you is going to affect me. But in the business world, how can I take that out of the streets to the business world? Because that's what we do. We take the trauma out of the trauma and take it to the good parts of life. That was good. We take the trauma out of the trauma and we drag it to the good parts of life. And now, I ain't networking. That's Joe. That's corny. I ain't walking up trying to introduce myself to nobody. Man, I ain't trying to meet no new people. I got my squad. Hope y'all hearing me. I hope y'all hearing me. Sometimes the trauma makes you want to stay close to home because that's the only place you feel safe. You don't want to travel. You don't want to move to a new city and do something new. Nah, this where I'm from. This where I was made at. I'm here. Nah, you just dealt with so much trauma, you're afraid of moving around. Cause when you was five, your mom left you at somebody else's house, and maybe you got molested, or maybe you got beat, maybe you got hurt, and now you 35, and you afraid of going anywhere new. But the trauma made you. Come on, I hope y'all hear me. I hope y'all hear me. Or in some cases, the trauma make you super independent, and you like, man, ain't nobody never helped me. I'm gonna get it all on my own. Don't you know you need help? But the trauma made you. Now you Mr. and Mrs. super independent. You trying to do everything on your own, and you ain't got nowhere the amount of gifts, talents, connections, or resources to get whatever your vision is accomplished all by yourself. But you don't want to get no help because all your life you never got help. Now you just want to stay independent. How you going to boss up? How you going to level up if you ain't going to connect to some new people? So what doesn't kill you does not make you stronger. If you don't deal with it properly, it makes you incapable of being your best self. I hope y'all hearing that message today. Make sure y'all stay tuned for Boss Up, the rules of being the boss. May 17th, and stop by bfandkrumah.com and check out the books I already got up on there. Love y'all.